Welcome to USB Hole, the podcast where we talk out of our asses. I'm Chill.
I'm the child.
And today we are going to be talking about myths, but not just any myths, ones that have been debunked.
Bonk, bonk.
The fuck was that?
I don't know. When I imagine that something would put a sound effect for something that's been debunked. I don't know. Cut it out if you want to.
Nah, we're leaving that in. So I have some that have been debunked and some that are also ones that are true, but everyone thinks are false. So I got a little of both, and I'm going to make you guess which one is true or false.
Oh, okay. So you're going to test my intelligence on this one.
I am. And we're going to also discuss why we think that these myths have been debunked. And we tried not to do any research because that makes everything more fun to sound like a total idiot. So, do you want me to go first or you want to go first?
You can go first, but I just wanted to say something first.
Yeah.
I guess I maybe have one that's true, but that's just because I'm saying it's true and I'm going to give my reasons why.
Oh, God.
Because I had a really hard time finding these because I'm like, how do people believe this stuff? And so it made it very difficult for me. But I guess, yeah, go ahead and get us started.
Well, I would say like most of mine tell me that they were debunked and then didn't give actual reasons why. So I'm also going to be making up the reasons why I think they were debunked. So it may be, you may be right and I may be wrong, but I'm going to call you wrong if you don't say the same thing I'm thinking. So.
Okay. I didn't know this was a test.
I mean, that's the fun part.
I'm prepared to fail.
Okay. So
I've shown up to this episode ill-prepared as per usual and with too much energy.
That's the whole point of this.
Take that as you will.
So the first one I have is that you have to wait at least 24 hours before you can tell authorities that there is a missing person.
Oh, that's
true or
fake.
False?
Oh, false.
Correct. But why?
Because you can be fucking missing right away. The first 48 hours are the most important. You wait 24, then you only have 24 hours to find somebody.
I know. I want to know where this myth came from because there is literally a show called The First 48, right?
Yes.
And it just proves that, like, if you don't find someone in 48 hours, they're probably dead. So this is I put it first because it's a very dangerous myth. A lot of times, yeah, people can run away, or if someone's an adult, like, maybe they won't check right away because it's just an adult that's doing their own thing. Like, not answering a phone isn't an emergency.
Yeah,
but
just
if
because
someone is doing something weird or erratic, or they're doing something out of the ordinary and they're probably missing, call right away.
Yeah, because just because somebody doesn't answer the phone doesn't mean they're missing. So that's not like, they're not going to say, oh, yes, we're going to put this as a missing persons. But
right.
If they normally do answer the phone or something is out of the ordinary, then you can definitely call right away. So keep that in mind.
Like, they didn't show up
happens.
to work, but that morning they said they were going to work, call right away because they might be missing.
It's different. I wasn't prepared to have mine be like, are you going to get it right or not? So we'll see how this goes. Bats are blind.
That is not true. They're just not blind. I don't know where that came from either, because they're not blind. They can see. I mean, echolocation helps just anyone in general, but that's not what they rely on to see.
Yeah, that's the ding, ding, ding. That is correct. It's the microphone. I think that's making me want to do the sound.
You're doing like a game show host type thing.
Yeah, those of you not watching the video version, I am choosing to hold my microphone like I am a newscaster today. I don't know why. I'm just feeling this vibe. I don't know where that saying being blind as a bat came from either. Like you said, with the echolocation, they use that. But it's not, what they used to see. And I even have cited my sources here. In fact, as Rob Mize, former executive director of the Organization for... Come on, we have to laugh. Oh, God. Former director of Organization for the Bat Conservation told National Geographic bats can see 3 times better than humans. So
Oh,
take
shit.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit. I didn't know they were that good at seeing.
I am blind. Blinder than a bat.
Well, apparently I am too, and I don't even have any eye issues.
Yeah, I'm like 4 times blinder than a bat.
That's crazy. All right, my next one is Maine is the closest state to Africa. I don't know if this is like a wildly known thing, but like, is it true or false?
The closest U.S. state?
Yes.
That's incorrect. It's Puerto Rico.
You're wrong.
Puerto Rico's
First
not a
off,
state.
you're
It was a
very
joke.
wrong.
I was joking.
If that were the case, though, when you were going by the contiguous, is that how you say it? 50 states, then
Contiguous?
Florida would be, wouldn't it?
From proximity, yeah.
So no.
I've never heard somebody say that Maine was the closest state to Africa.
I know, I said it's not really a myth, but I wanted something that was actually true.
You just found a
people
random
might
fact to
think-
ask me.
yeah.
Oh.
But people might think that's false. It's true. Maine is the closest state to Africa, the country.
Can you cite your sources?
I cannot, but I could tell you why it makes sense. Because when you look at a map, to all the flat earthers out there, you are also wrong. That's a myth. So when you look at the map, it's obviously flat, and it looks like something like Florida would be the closest to Africa because it's the furthest south. But if you look at the latitude and longitude of all the states in an actual globe, it makes more sense geographically. So you have to look at latitude and longitude when you are looking at proximity.
Yeah, because when you take a globe and you cut it and unroll it, everything shifts.
Yes.
Because the Earth is not flat. There's a myth for you.
Literally
I know
just
you just said
that.
I know, but I was pointing out that it's a myth. Also, for some reason, my speakers went out halfway through that sentence, so I only heard part of what you said about flat earthers.
Oh, well, I did say it was a myth.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with a controversial topic here that I saw somebody post something about the other day on the internet, and I just got a little ramped up about it. Amped.
You can
without
ramp
having
up.
I could ramp up without even having to do any research or look it up. I personally could debunk it from my own personal experience, but the myth. Sugar is as addictive as heroin.
That cannot be true.
That is not true. So the particular thing I saw the other day said that sugar was as addictive as cocaine. So I think that in some stances, they just kind of group them all together for different hardcore drugs or different drugs in general. But I'm going to say I have never
ask me if I know why it's debunked.
Oh, well, okay, sorry. Do you know why it's debunked?
No.
Or do you know why they I was still explaining why people think that it's real, but
Oh, my bad.
know why people think it's real?
I mean, sugar is addicting. And I don't know. Tell me.
Okay. Dr. Robert Lustig.
Oh,
He wrote
you
a
have
book.
more sources cited.
Yes, I do have more sources. But this one is because, like I said, I was debunking this on my own, so I brought some sources to back me up. But this Dr. Robert Lustig wrote a book claiming that sugar stimulates the brain's reward system the same way tobacco, alcohol, cocaine, and even heroin does, and therefore must be equally addictive. Lustig even cites studies that show part of our brain that light up from a sugary reward are the same parts that get excited from many types of enjoyable activities, from drinking alcohol to having sex. The problem, however, with these types of scientific studies is that the brain is in neuroimaging. There is no clear-cut sign of addiction. So just because that part of your brain is lighting up in the stimulus showing that it enjoys it as much does not mean that it's as addictive.
I was going to
That's the
say,
scientific.
of course it gives you a dopamine hit. Like, that's going to be anything that you enjoy is going to do that. You can't distinguish just from a brain scan if it's hitting you harder or if it's more addictive, like you said.
Yeah. So basically, they're saying the scientific studies show that there's no correlation. I mean, yeah, it shows that you get the same reward factor, but there's no correlation to the addiction side of it. And that it is not true that it's as addictive as heroin, alcohol, cocaine, anything like that. And just going to make a joke here that I'm going to preface with explicit content. I've never eaten sugar and said, man, I'd really like to blow another rail of this. But cocaine, sure, fucking cut it up. How are people even attempting to say these are the same? Like, how dumb are you?
Yeah, I can say that there's a sugar addiction, I'm sure, just because, like we said, there's a dopamine hit. You're going to be addicted to anything that makes you feel good in some way, but there is literally addictive additives in drugs so that you keep coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I have a sweet tooth from time to time, or a little more than from time to time, but I don't sit around and think about eating more sugar, or like if I eat one cookie, I'm not like, oh my God, I have to have another cookie. But like when you're drinking alcohol, like alcoholics think about the want and need to have more alcohol. I don't think that can be the same correlation as wanting something sugary. People who are addicted to drugs, like literally have an addiction, like you need it to get by, and you will become physically ill from withdrawals. That's not what happens when you don't eat your cookies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm addicted to like smoking cigarettes. I know it's not the same as hard drugs, but nicotine is addicting. And I could safely say that I could get by without sugar, even though I think I'm addicted to sugar, but I cannot get by without. I feel the need for the nicotine. I don't feel the need for the sugar.
Yeah. As a sober addict, I will say, again, speaking for myself, I can eat a cookie and be fine and not be like, I need to have another cookie. But I know that if I do a drug, I will think about doing a drug again and again. And that's why I do not do drugs, because, like I said, I am now sober. But if somebody gave me some cocaine and I did cocaine, that's all I would think about until I did it again. If somebody gave me a cookie, I wouldn't sit around wanting to have another cookie or anything sugary.
I mean, there are people who do. That's why there's shows like My 600-Pound Life. But I'm telling you, if you gave those people cocaine, they would be more addicted to the cocaine than the sugar. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's I'm not saying that
they
sugar
haven't cocaine.
isn't. Yeah, exactly. But I'm not saying sugar isn't addictive. I'm just saying they're not on the same wavelength. Yeah. So.
All right, my next one is kind of a two-parter. So you know of the phrase "drinking the Kool-Aid," right?
Yes.
Do you know where it came from?
I do not.
Okay, so knowing this will help. So there was a colony. It was actually a cult, and
yes,
run by like Jim James or whatever, or Jim Jones, and he had a bunch of people drink a drink with cyanide in it, and then they all died. So was that phrase correct? This is hard for me to word. Was it Kool-Aid? Yes or no?
Like actual Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
No.
So the whole thing revolves around drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, that's why that phrase came to, because there was Kool-Aid in the cup, but it was actually Flavor Aid. So you're correct.
So they were drinking the knockoff Kool-Aid?
Yeah. But it's funny that happened and probably hurt Kool-Aid really badly. Like, I'm sure they had a decline in sales, and it wasn't even Kool-Aid the whole time.
Yeah, that would be some negative press for the wrong company. But I've also heard drinking the Kool-Aid, like once you started to say where it came from, I remember hearing that before. But I've also heard that as like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, like don't believe the hype.
Well, that's
Like,
what it means now. That's why the phrase came. Like, you're basically a follower to a fault if you drink the Kool-Aid. Like someone who's super loyal to their company and like pushes their family aside to put their company first, you're drinking the
okay,
company Kool-Aid.
I get it now.
But the phrase came from because they were all following Jim Jones to a fault and then ended up killing themselves.
Oh, not a good time.
No, not at all.
Hmm. Do you want to hear an interesting fact about Flavor Aid?
I do.
When I was in middle school, we sometimes would get the packs of Flavor Aid. They were like 20 for $1 of the Flavor Aid versus like whatever the Kool-Aid cost was.
A lot.
So sometimes on the school bus, me and this one girl would take turns bringing the Flavor Aid packs, and we would just eat Flavor Aid packets on the school bus.
Stop.
Like we would just like pour them in our mouth, or like do you ever hear about like when people would like color their hair with
Yeah.
Kool-Aid? Sometimes we would put it in people's hair on the bus too.
My God, what is
I
wrong
don't
with
know
you?
why. I don't know why we did this stuff, but it's just something that I remember. And I specifically remember it was Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid. It was like that
Well,
little dude with the cup with the straw was like the it
yeah.
was like
You couldn't
the
waste the Kool-Aid. You couldn't waste the good stuff.
we couldn't afford Kool-Aid. Are you kidding me?
Well, you putting it in your mouth at least was just like instant flavor aid. But putting it in other
Yeah.
people's hair, what's wrong with you?
I don't know why we did that. Well, like they wanted us to, like to color their hair on the
Oh,
bus. Like we didn't just pour it in people's hair randomly. Like
I
we
thought that's what you
colored their
meant.
hair on the no, like we colored their hair on the bus like that.
That's funny.
Goldfish has um I don't know how to read. Goldfish can't remember goldfish can't remember anything for longer than a second. I heard this as 5 seconds. So to say goldfish has a 5 second memory.
I always heard it as 3 seconds. So that's
Okay.
just proof to me that it's false
All three things. All right, that is correct. Do you know why it's false?
because they have a memory longer than 3 seconds. Isn't it like isn't it like 6 weeks or something?
Um, what
Or
I
months?
found, yeah, what I found was that goldfish actually have pretty good memories. They can remember things for months, up to
Okay.
3 months. I don't know how somebody knows if a goldfish remembers something for 3 months because it's a goldfish, but yes,
Rigorous testing.
yeah. So the sources said they can remember things for months, not seconds, like many people say. Unlike myself, who cannot remember shit. I added the last part. That's about me.
Also works for me.
Yes, you can definitely. I was editing a promo for next week's episode, or 2 weeks from now, and you were trying to tell a story, and we had to stop like 3 times because you're like, I can't remember shit. I don't know. My memory is shit. I have a shitty memory. So
Two
there was like
weeks
a
from the
five.
time of recording, by the way, not the time this comes out.
Oh right, yes. And Sarah just like we had a 5 minute conversation about how Sarah couldn't remember anything.
That's me. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
goldfish, but not really.
Like you remember these cool stories, but you can't remember the details or interesting stories. And then I just don't remember anything. And then after the episodes air, then I'm like, oh yeah, I could have talked about such and such.
I
And
remember some things afterwards too, and it's like
yeah,
shit.
like our injuries one, did that just air? Did that air yet?
No, that's coming out. Oh yeah, dude. I don't fucking know,
I
man.
don't know. At some point in time, we recorded about injuries, and then this morning I was sitting at work looking at a scar on my leg, and then a scar on my face, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I could have talked about that time that I got bit by a dog and I had to get stitches." I talked about my tooth instead.
Yeah, there were a few
So,
I thought about after we recorded that, and I was like, well, fuck.
well, fuck. All
All right.
right.
My next myth you might like. Um, where did it go?
I like myths.
420 where 420 came from as the penal code for marijuana usage. Fact
I
or
don't.
fiction?
Oh, that 420 is the penal code for. I have no idea. So fiction.
Which one is? Yeah, you're right. I never remember what fiction is. I have to think about like fact
Fiction
and
means
fiction.
fake.
Yes, I know, but like I have to say the fact first, and I'm like, oh well, it's not fact, so it's fiction.
Yeah.
You're correct.
I never understood why fiction meant fake and nonfiction meant not fake. Why not just make it like the other way around?
Or just say fact
Like,
and fiction.
well, yeah, I guess, but either way, it's still confusing.
I don't know. There's got to be a weird distinction. So, do you know where 420 did start? I'm assuming no, since you didn't even know if it was the penal
my
code.
bedroom. No, I don't know. I know a few different things, but I know that none of them are the actual start. They're just different things people say about it.
Yeah, so a lot of people would say that like 420 was the code for when you got arrested, like for marijuana usage. So you would go down as like a 420 or whatever. You know how when they call out different things,
Yes.
they have numbers and stuff. So that's not true. It was just a bunch of kids in a high school. I don't remember which one. They would just go smoke at 420 every day. So that became their code for let's go smoke weed.
Okay.
So it's literally the time.
So literally just like what everybody does is just smoke at 420.
Yeah, blaze it.
Yeah. I send a text message to people at 420.
Oh.
Not intentionally. Like I don't just like wait around and wait for it to be 420. The lead up to this story was really
420
shitty.
yet?
If I happen to go to use my phone or like have my phone in my hand and I look down and it's exactly 420, I will always send a text message to Brandy and say 420. And then if she happens to do it, she does it to me.
When I stopped at 420 on that video by accident, I sent it to you.
Yeah, that was funny.
I was like, oh hey, 420.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's like some other stuff that's like that date, and then obviously people like to get high on April 20th, but like, do you really need one day of the year to smoke your weed? So, cannabis is a medical cannabis use. I'm gonna read you the last one from my list just because I feel like it tracks and it's a good one for where we are in our conversation. Okay. The biggest myth to be busted is giving me a task means I will complete it.
Am I supposed to say if that's true or false?
Yes.
Is this for you specifically? I'm so confused.
Oh. Yeah, I read it wrong, so that's not what I meant to say. This microphone is really distracting me. Okay, so the way that I wrote it was not intended for you to tell me if it was true or false, because I just said it was false.
Oh.
Because I wrote it as the biggest myth to be busted. So like I already wrote that it is debunked.
Oh. Well, I thought we were both people who, if someone else gave us a task, we'll actually do it. But if we have tasks that we have to do, we won't do them. So I was like, is this a trick question? Because you said if someone gives me a task.
Yeah, okay. Well, typically if somebody... you got me. Typically if somebody else gives me a task or I have to do something for someone else, I do eventually get it done. But when I was thinking about this particular instance, it was just me trying to find myths to talk about because I was having a hard time getting more than 5 because every single one of them I'm like, this is fucking dumb. How do people not know this is fake? Like, I don't know. So
people do be dumb.
Spoiler alert. I probably won't get it done.
Spoiler alert. Why is that so hard to say?
I don't know. Hey, do you know that I've been getting feedback about some of the podcast episodes, like in real life? Like people will be telling me about them, but not leaving reviews.
People do be telling.
People be telling. So, hey, if you have feedback about an episode, if it's 5-star feedback, leave it on Apple or Spotify or wherever you leave your feedback. I mean,
Only
wherever
if it's
you
5
listen.
stars.
If it's 5 stars, leave it on a public platform. If it's not, then hit us up on Twitter and tell us why it's not, and then we'll tell you why it is.
Shh, can you get pregnant from a toilet seat?
No,
You're wrong.
no, you cannot get pregnant from a toilet seat.
You can't get pregnant from a toilet seat.
How? How are you getting those sperms up in your vagina?
Well, maybe people have not. I don't know how to say this correctly because I don't know the terms for vagina off the top of my head. You know, when you don't have like big flappy lips, you just have vagina. Maybe you sit on the seat.
But like, are you just like rubbing your vagina on the toilet seat?
Maybe. How are you to judge
odd.
my life? Well, the reason why it is very, it's not very common, obviously, and it's very hard to do, like we've just demonstrated. But it can happen because as long as the sperm is moist, it is viable.
Okay, well, so somebody would have to come in there.
Jerk off all over the toilet seat.
Get the sperm, active sperm, all over the toilet seat, and then immediately after, while the sperm is still warm and wet and viable, I'm very southern now.
Viable, you'd have not viable. What the fuck is that?
It just came out
There's
that
no
way.
L.
Viable. I said it was an accent. It just came out that way. There's no L. And then somebody immediately after would have to come in and just like straddle the toilet seat and just like rub all up on it and be like, come on in me, like get in me, little spermies.
Well, there are some people that do weird ass shit because they want to trap people. So maybe instead of like saving it in a condom and inserting it later, they're just rubbing their coochie on a toilet seat. I don't know how people do.
Crazy. While you're talking about that, can I talk about, well, do you have my brain's not working. I don't know. My brain is not working today.
Do you have can I do
you know, you used to talk about getting pregnant from a toilet seat. What about getting STDs from a toilet seat?
That was also on my list, but I thought pregnant was more fun. You can get STDs from a toilet seat.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was on your list. Sorry.
No, it wasn't on my list to do. It was like that between that or pregnant, and I picked pregnant.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so if you didn't know that, you thought that it was fake, you can. I mean, some of them are pretty rare, but you can.
Yeah. It depends on the STD because some of them are more viable on now I can't fucking talk. Inanimate objects than, like, they don't need a host to survive, but some do, so it depends. Apparently you can't contract a bacterial STI. So if it's bacterial, you're fine. It can only be transmitted through sexual intercourse.
But viral ones, whoo, watch out.
Woo. That's probably not a good sound to make about STIs.
We're going to get canceled. We're going to get canceled just because the whole episode is just me laughing. And are you muting your laugh? Because I can see that you're visibly laughing.
I just can't
But I don't
breathe.
hear anything. Like, you're crying. You're laughing so hard you're crying.
Seeds are not the spicy part of a chili pepper. True or false?
False?
No, it is true. The seeds are not the spicy part. So you know how everyone says, oh, remove the seeds if you don't want your shit to be spicy. Well, it's not the seeds. Do you know what it is?
What's the spicy part? No, I thought it was the seeds.
So it's apparently the little like attachments from the thing to the seeds.
Oh, who eats that part?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't get it all out.
Hmm.
Because, like, I'm
just
trying to cut the
weird.
jalapeno and get the middle part out, and sometimes it's just not all. I'm not going to be perfect about it. Who cares? It's all edible.
I don't eat jalapenos. They're too hot for me.
Jalapenos are too hot.
That is correct.
You are so white.
I am very. I have no tolerance for heat.
So, like, what's the hottest you'll go?
Something that's mild, but like with something else. I don't know. I don't like the flavor of a jalapeno either. So I'm not just gonna like be like, let me put some of these on my food. But
Like, have you ever been to Buffalo Wild Wings?
yes, but it's been so long and only once that I wouldn't be able to tell you what I had or what their sauces are like.
Never mind.
I can tell you that I do like to get Thai food, and I always get the thing that they claim is the least spicy, like any kind of like
It's still
whatever.
spicy.
And my mouth is always on fire the entire time I eat it, but like it's so good, so I'll eat it anyway, but it's like torture.
Yeah, a lot of Thai food is like, I probably can't handle it because I'm also a baby back bitch when it comes to spice. So, all right, you want me to do
Yeah.
one more? Well, not one more, but like another one, two in a row.
You?
Yeah, because I have a bunch.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. If you have oily skin, should you moisturize?
Yes.
True. Why?
Because just because your skin is oily doesn't mean it's not needs doesn't need hydration. Your skin still needs hydration even if it's oily. They're not the same thing.
Right. And a lot of people think if it's oily, that means it's hydrated. It's not. Like the oils are extra producing because your skin is so dehydrated.
Yeah, like it's not secreting water, it's secreting oils. Like it's not the same. This is why I was like, how do people believe some of this stuff? Like that one I get, like people could be misinformed about, especially when it comes to skincare.
Right.
Because
I mean, 10 years ago, I would have thought like oily skin meant I'm hydrating too much because, like, if I put on a lot of lotion, sometimes my skin gets oily. So, like, you put two and two together and you think, oh, well, oil means I'm good. It doesn't.
yeah. The same thing also goes for your eyes. Like
If your
if
eyes are
you're
oily,
no, like if your eyes water a lot, you could still have dry eyes. Like
oh,
that seems
definitely.
weird, but yeah, they may still need hydration.
Well, a
Like
lot of your body doing things is because it doesn't have enough of something.
yeah, and your eyes are like, ah, fuck, I'm dry. Make more tears, because it's trying to like wet itself so much.
Cry, bitch.
Punch me. That was
Right.
a callback to earlier.
That I don't even think we recorded.
We probably were not. My next one. So when I was like looking at different things, the one list I think was just somebody's personal opinions, and it was in a magazine. I think
Was it in
was like
Cosmo?
no, I want to say like USA Today or like something like that type of magazine. I don't remember, like a list. And the person was like, one of the lists said, or one of the things said, um, it didn't have any like reasons why or why not. And it just said, we never use any sort of mathematics that we learned in school in real life. Mathematics are stupid. Why do we even learn them? Nobody ever uses geometry, algebra, and then like a whole list of other things like calculus, whatever. Do you think that's true?
Have you ever added, like, just in general?
Like how many fucking things are in my hand, right? So that I was like, wow, you're stupid. And I wanted to like find a way to reply to the article and be like, just because you don't know what math is doesn't make it not true. But people saying like the algebra thing specifically, I have actually heard a lot of people say, why did we learn algebra? We never use it in real life. And I would just like to educate some people that we do use algebra every day. Like your x plus b
whatever, like however you want to put it, not even like going full on like Pythagorean theorem or anything like that. Like just the substitution of like your X and your B and your like those letters mean stuff. So like if you need to be at the doctor's for your 10 o'clock appointment and the doctor's is 20 minutes away and you have to figure out what time to leave your house to be to the doctor's on time, that's fucking algebra.
That was literally in our algebra books. Like, if a train leaves the station A at this time, what time will it arrive at station B going 80 miles per hour? Like, that's literally in the algebra book.
That's just literally like your brain is not comprehending to trade out the word train for car or X for dollars.
Anything.
And the movie costs this many dollars. And like, that's all it is that you're not thinking in your brain that you're trading out what it is, because you are, and it's algebra and you're going to use it every day.
Why do you think that we use variables in algebra? Because it could be anything.
Yeah, I think people just don't find the correlation between a variable and what you're replacing it with.
So where do I use calculus?
I don't know. I never took calculus. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you the specific definition of the difference between calculus and any other type of mathematics.
I will tell you that I did take calculus, and I also could not tell you what calculus is or how to do it. So I just passed the class and then forgot it all.
Like, geometry includes shapes, and I feel like algebra is everything else.
Yeah. And if you're in a specific, like even just being like an admin and you have to use Excel, I'm sure you're using algebraic formulas in some sense or fashion. If you're an architect, you're definitely using algebra and geometry. Like, there's so many different types of person and different types of like job where you need to use math constantly.
I would imagine that somebody who's an architect knows that they're using math.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there's the architect who knows he's using math, or she, and there's someone who has like a random job where they wouldn't think they're using algebra, and they are.
Like the person writing a list of 10 myths. Like you had to use math to number the 10 numbers on your list.
I didn't number anything.
No, the person that wrote the list that I read that said they've never used math.
Fucking idiot.
That person. They wrote out the word mathematics, though.
Mathematics. Fancy.
They were an English major. Because they wrote articles, get it?
Yeah, they don't believe in math.
Yeah.
That's what English majors do, right? Don't believe in math.
Yeah. I don't believe in math.
All right, so my next one, does pineapple actually make your cum sweeter?
Specifically pineapple?
That's
like
the normal
irrelevant.
saying. That's why, well, I'm doing it because that's usually what people say, and that's why it's a myth or not.
Well, yeah, it does, because what's in your diet can affect all your body secretions.
Ding, ding.
Ding,
Yes.
ding, ding.
So, cum barely, I hate that word. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why you said come twice now.
Because that's what it said on the thing.
Oh, ejaculate?
Ew, I don't like that either. You jizz.
Sperm?
You fucking jizz. No, because
Stuff that your sperm's swimming in?
Yeah, because sperm
Your sperm
is
water?
a very... Ew. That's so much worse. I'm just going to go with jizz, because that's usually what I call it anyway. Not sperm water. So sperm is actually a very small part of jizz.
I know this. That was a joke. I was trying to say sperm water.
I'm trying to explain why it makes it sweeter. Shut up.
I thought you were telling me I was dumb.
No, so sperm is a very small part of jizz. It also has protein, amino acids, like vitamin D, all these nutrients. So, of course, like you said, anything you put in your body is going to be excreted somehow, and it's going to come out in any way possible. So all of this stuff is wrapped up in the jizz and comes out. But if you eat If you eat
Sorry.
celery, I didn't know this. If you eat celery, it can remove the salty taste of jizz.
Celery is disgusting.
It is. It's absolutely disgusting. I'd rather have salty jizz.
Can you imagine people out there just like chomping on celery, like walking around, like, "Oh, what's up? I'm just eating my celery, so my gum's not salty."
I mean, I know there's a lot of people that don't like it because it's kind of like snot and then salt. So it's like a slug. I don't know. But I would
I definitely
100%
I thought you were
rather
talking about
have
the celery.
talking about jizz here. I would rather have the salty jizz than celery in my mouth because celery is fucking disgusting.
I'm gonna put a no comment on that. Can I tell you what my mom refers to cum as? Or
Yes.
ejaculate? My mom calls it chism.
You stop.
It's
I
so
don't like
disgusting. I hate it when she says it. Gross.
Let's move on. Do you have one more?
Oh. Yeah, I have another one. But can we just change this episode to be listing off different ways to say cum?
No.
All right, fine. True or false? Camels store water in their humps. Their humps, their humps.
They're lovely lady lumps. I'm gonna say false.
Check it out. Sorry, that is correct.
I don't know if they store anything in their humps. Isn't it just like their skeletal area?
Well,
Like,
there's
it's
a
just
little
skeleton,
bit.
right?
No, there's some
Fat?
stuff in it. Yeah, it's fat. Yeah, that's correct. It's fat. Did you ever think that was true?
Probably when I was a little kid.
Like, I've heard that before, but I never like understood why people said that. I guess maybe just because they're in a desert, so they just assume they're like little magic packs that carry water in them.
Well, I think it's because they can go a while without water, probably evolutionary because they live in a desert, and probably not as long as we think. But I think that's why people thought they had humps of water, like they store it like fucking hamsters for later, but that's not true.
Just put it in their cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this before, but I didn't think it was true because I just didn't think how it would be possible. But so, if you'd like me to cite my sources, I can't cite my sources because I didn't write where I got this from, but I did write down like why it's incorrect. So, right at home in the deserts of the Middle East and northeastern Africa, the Arabian camel is well adapted to extreme heat. It can go months without drinking water in the winter and up to 5 days in the summer. How does it do that? As the myth goes, camel humps function as water storage reservoirs. Incorrect. In reality, though, those humps are full of fat, up to 80 pounds worth, of which camels live off when food and water are scarce. It also helps the camels' bodies are built for conserving water.
See, I was right. Evolution.
Yeah, fat, but there's fat in the humps. Fatty humps.
Fat humps.
Fatty humps. That's gonna be my rap name, Fatty Humps.
Do you think that bulls get mad at the color red?
I'm not gonna answer the question because I did see this on the list, so I feel like it'd be cheating.
Okay.
So like
Well,
I
they
already know the
don't.
reason. Yeah. I have heard that before and I didn't think that it was accurate, but I didn't know, like I just assumed they were colorblind or something. But
I didn't even look up why, like I said, for any of these. I'm just making up my own thing, so
yeah.
I'll verify with you. They just get mad at what the matador is doing, right? Like they're doing like big motions and stuff, and they just don't like it.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the color red, but something about the way they see green and red. I didn't write this one down either or save this one because, like I said, some of them I just thought people just knew wasn't real. But something about the color
People
green.
don't know that.
They really think that they are mad at the color red?
Well, every time you see a matador waving the thing, it's always red.
Yeah.
Always.
I think this is the problem. I'm an asshole. And I think I'm much more intelligent than I am, which I know that is 100% true, that I'm not as smart as I think I am. and I'm definitely not as smart as a lot of other people, but I'm definitely smarter than a lot of people. So I just instinctively assume people are stupid because they don't know what I know, because I'm not that smart. And I feel like if I know it, somebody else should know it. And that's really dick. But that's why I had such a hard time with this.
That's why I have a bunch of them, because I just assume everyone's dumb.
I just call everyone dumb and you just assume they're dumb, but you don't call them out on it.
Right.
That's why you're chill and I'm a child.
Does sugar make you hyperactive? Yes or no?
I saw that one on the list a lot too, but I didn't take the time to read it. I'm going to say no.
Correct. There is no correlation between hyperactivity and sugar, but they have no proof of why. They have proof that there's no correlation, but they don't know why really that people think that sugar highs are a thing. Their best guess is, especially with children, is usually when children are having high amounts of sugar, they're at things like birthday parties and like cookouts or whatever, some fun thing for them. So of course they're going to be hyperactive.
I think it goes back to the dopamine response. Like the sugar triggers the dopamine in your brain, and then you just like spaz out because you're in such a good mood.
But if you're a little kid, it probably all together, like just a bunch of environmental things put together. Yeah. So if I'm like a 6-year-old and I'm with a bunch of my friends, of course I'm going to be hyperactive. I'm 6.
Exactly.
But sugar crashes are real.
Yeah. I feel like if I ate like 2 pieces of cake, which that's a bad example because I don't think I could eat 2 pieces of cake. If I ate like a pie
at an airport.
At an airport, like I don't think I would ever like feel like, for myself personally, I don't think I'd ever get like the hyped up feeling, but I would definitely need to take a nap.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one on my list is that an increase in gross income will increase or decrease your post-tax earnings.
Come again?
Stop saying come.
I'm sorry. Repeat that, please.
Now I can't hear come again. So you get an increase in your income. You were making $50,000. Now
I don't need you to explain it what it means. I just wanted you to say it again.
Well, I'm explaining it for the people that might not understand. So
now you're calling them dumb. You're telling our listeners they're dumb as
this isn't even the myth yet. So you get an increase in your pay from $50,000 to $100,000, or we'll make it even smaller, $50,000 to $60,000. You ended up in another tax bracket. Did your post-tax, like net income, decrease?
Well, it depends on your earnings and how you file your shit.
No.
Stop. No.
All things considered the same. Your health insurance, anything you're putting into your 401k, all of that. The only thing that changes is now you're in a new tax bracket. Everything else was the same. Does
all
your
deductions?
Net
your
pay,
deductions
all your
same?
deductions are the same. Does your net pay decrease?
No.
No, and it never will. And I don't understand why people think this. So if you went from $50,000 to $60,000 and you're in another tax bracket, the only thing that is getting taxed at that new rate is the $10,000 you increased. So say the tax bracket was at 50,001. So that 9,999 is the only thing that will be taxed at the increased rate. That 50,000 will be taxed at the lower rate that you were already at. So therefore your net pay can never go down. And so many people think that if they go into a new tax bracket, they will start losing money because now all their money will be taxed at the new rate. That's not true.
You know what it is, though? Mathematics.
You're 100% using math and algebra when you figure that out. But I only added this because I want everyone to be smart with their money. Don't don't deny a raise just because you think you're going to make less by going into a new tax bracket. That is the stupidest shit I have ever heard. Take more
People
money.
do that?
Yes. People think that if they go into another tax bracket, they will lose money.
When you're in school learning your mathematics, it's something that they should also be teaching you during your mathematics.
Oh, 100%.
Finances.
I didn't take finance until college, and that's only because I had a business degree. And we still didn't even learn that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's something that should be being taught.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. They did teach us how to balance a checkbook, and that was about all the financials we ever got. And I don't do that anymore because everything's online.
You don't even have checks, right?
I do. Only because that's how I have to pay rent now. So.
Oh. I use checks on a regular basis. People make fun of me for it.
Before this year, I hadn't had a check since I was 18 years old.
I love writing checks. It makes me feel so fancy.
I hate it because all of a sudden I look at my bank account and I'm like, where did this $3,000 go? And then I'm like, oh, they cashed the check. Okay.
See, if you were, balancing your checkbook, then you would already know that 3,000 was coming out before it even came out.
I mean, I knew it was coming out, but I can't control when someone cashes a check.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, when you run by the book, like, you see everything instantly rather than, like, having to wait for stuff online. Like, people don't know nowadays. Yeah.
Also,
back in the
I'm
day,
fortunately not living paycheck to paycheck, so I don't really have to do
you
that.
still got to check your bank. People
I
stealing your money.
I check my bank account every day. I'm like, did I actually spend this money at like Buffalo Wild Wings? Going back to that.
Did you actually charge $3.49 7 times to some random Google account, or did somebody hack your card while you were on vacation? That's what happened to me 2 weeks ago.
That's so annoying. Did you get a new card yet?
Yeah, my new card came, and I used a different like PIN and everything, and I got my fraud money. Like, it all got reimbursed finally.
Nice.
But they were the most random. It was like $30-something, and it was like 6 transactions of $3.49 to the same Google account, and then like a few for 99 cents to the same Google account, and they were all to the same. Everything was to the same Google account, all of the transactions, and the total amount of them like all added up to like $36. Like, well, if you're gonna steal my fucking money, you couldn't have made it easier and just do like one $36 transaction.
They were trying to make sure you had money in there and that it was actually going to work.
Like, bitch, I'm not fucking using Google Pay. Get a life. I write checks.
Yeah, she's like 90. What do you mean?
That's why the bank called me. And the bank's like, hey, are you trying to use Google Pay? And I'm like, no.
Literally never do this.
But it's such a pain in the butt because then I had to go and I had to change my stuff. And like, I only use that account for paying bills. So then I had to like change all of my crap. I don't keep money in that account. Yeah. I only put money into that account when I'm ready to pay a bill. Yeah. So like I have like a small amount in there to keep it from like an overdraft. So like if somebody does something like that, so I don't want to be hit like overdraft fees and stuff. But then like I will go put money in there. Most of my checks that I write are to myself from one account to another. I do. That's obviously I do transfers too, but like for the business, there's a lot of stuff that auto pays from like my personal accounts because it's just easier than through the business. So then I have to write myself a check from the business because I can't just give myself money. So it's literally like the cell phone bill for work is in my name, like as another line on my personal account. So I have to write myself a check every month to pay my cell phone bill instead of just logging in and paying the cell phone bill.
Well, see, you doing bookkeeping is way more important than me doing it. I write one check a month and randomly forget about it until they cash it. And I'm like, oh, shit, there goes money. Yeah. And then that's all I think about it.
Yeah, I have to track every penny that I spend, and it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
All right, so I only have one more left.
Okay.
Does
miss me
shaving causes your hair to grow back thicker?
That is also false.
Why?
That is false because It doesn't make it grow back thicker.
Good show. Good show. Why
I
do
don't know,
people think it though?
because it has it's like the sharp end of the cut piece of hair that appears to be thicker because it's like the frayed cut end.
Yeah, because when you don't cut your hair forever, you know, you get like split ends and it just looks like shit at the bottom and like all that. But then you cut it and it's nice and thick and it's pretty, and that's why. So shave your mustache, it won't grow back thicker. You're fine.
Tweeze it.
Shave it. I need to shave.
Me too. I'm actually I'm gonna tell everyone about this because what do I care? Well, so yeah, I mean I have crazy hormonal issues and I'm a hairy motherfucker. But I get my mustache waxed, but in order to get your mustache waxed, like it has to be a certain length or it's not gonna adhere to the wax to pull out.
Right.
So to pull out. So you have to like grow it out. Well, I get so irritated trying to let it grow out because I don't want to walk around with a mustache that like I wind up buzzing it or I freaking tweeze it every day, and it's so frustrating. I don't want to do it every fucking day. So 2 days ago, I made a decision that I was going to stop and let it grow out, and I'm literally going to wait to get it waxed until I leave to go on my next vacation and see how thick I can get my mustache. Like I want to see how full my mustache is if I don't do anything to it. I'm on 2 days, and before we started filming, I did have to tweeze one hair because it was so dark you could see it on the camera. So I've technically failed by tweezing that one hair, but I'm gonna try and grow it out.
So when is your next vacation?
What is today? August? Today's August. I'm gonna say the next one. Let me look at a calendar here. That's not a calendar. August. September? No, October. October 1st. So October 30th, September 30th, I typically would get my face waxed the day before I leave for vacation because I'm gone for 7 days. So then I don't have to get a wax while I'm gone. I just bring my tweezers and tweeze if I need to. But yeah, so a couple of days ago. So it's like the first week of August right now. So by the time people listen to this, I'll be like, I'll probably have such a good mustache. I could post a photo of it when this episode comes out.
Or we could just look in future episodes and you will probably be recording with a mustache.
But I mean, odds are I'll get annoyed and wind up tweezing it, but I'm gonna try
Probably.
because I want to see if I can like grow an actual mustache, like a stereotypical like television fireman mustache.
Well, that'll be interesting. We'll
yes,
update you guys every week on the mustache.
this is why I'm single. My mustache only. Not because I have one, but because I'm intentionally trying to grow one. Because more power to you. Rock your body hair, ladies. If you have it, don't be ashamed of it.
Yes,
That's a myth.
We're gonna shave.
Yeah, go for it. You want to shave, shave. You don't want to shave, don't shave.
I actually haven't shaved my face in a while because last time I did, I broke out. So we'll see what happens.
Do you have one right now because you're doing this?
I mean, I always have one, technically.
You want me to put my face
you
up there
can't
so y'all
see
can
it.
see what it looks like now?
No.
Like a starter?
Okay, she's gonna do it.
You
The
can't
light's
see it.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
the light's bad.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell us if you're growing a mustache. No. Tell us if you believed any of these myths or if you think we're wrong about any of them, because I didn't do any research and that was all coming from my brain. Tell them where they can hit us up because I always forget.
Hit us up on Twitter at chillandchild, or you can hit me up on Twitter at thechildofficial. You can also find us on Instagram, The Chill and the Child, or you can find us on Facebook, The Chill and the Child. USB Hole, the podcast
USB hole.
is what I meant to say. Facebook, USB Hole. You can find us on TikTok, USB Hole.
You can find us
How did you
on
remember all
Apple.
these?
I posted a promo thing yesterday. And I just posted a promo during this recording on TikTok, actually. And you didn't know about it.
How did you get the TikTok login?
No, I posted it on my TikTok and I tagged USB
Oh.
Hole. Even though nobody knows my TikTok except for you, like that I actually know in real life. So I guess they'll find it if they can. I don't know if you can see who tags somebody in a TikTok or not. I don't know.
I don't know either. Probably.
I don't know how TikTok works, to be honest. I
Find
just
us
like
on
watching
social
dog
media
photos.
with all of our million different names of things because stuff was already taken because it's 2022.
Yeah.
Good luck finding
And
like a good tag that's not taken.
and hit us up on those and tell us stuff so we can talk about it in an episode. Or send us a recording telling us about something in an episode that you liked or didn't like so that we can talk about you personally in a recording instead of us
We can
just
talk
talking
shit about you.
generally. Yes. I would like to specifically talk shit about you rather than generally talking shit about everyone. Just kidding. We love you guys. Keep listening.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.